Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Grab an umbrella or a raincoat if you have plans this evening. I'll show you the hours the rain is set to move in coming up.
Plus, it's been exactly 1 week since a deadly shooting near a Wake County middle school. Today, the Raleigh Police Department will release a report on exactly what happened.
And former President Trump is expected to appear before the judge in Manhattan tomorrow. How police are preparing for a hectic day in court.
We begin with breaking news this noon. One person is in custody at this hour after a shooting inside a Durham business.
Yeah, it all happened a short time ago at the Dollar Tree on Glen School Road. WRAL's Monica Casey is on the scene. Monica, what have you learned in the last 20 minutes?
Well, Durham police tell me they do have a suspect in custody related to this shooting. It's now about 3 hours after all of this happened, and you can see behind me it's still an active scene here at this Dollar Tree business. I'm going to step behind the camera to show you a little bit more of what we are seeing on scene. There are still about half a dozen Durham police vehicles here at the shopping plaza on Glen School Road. Some Dollar Tree employees are also outside here speaking with each other right now. If you take a look over here on the side, the Durham Police Mobile Command Unit is also on scene. We see that at crime scenes in Durham. We do know right now that the man who was shot had life-threatening injuries. We are still working to learn whether that man was an employee or a customer here at the Dollar Tree, but we do know that this happened inside of this business. Police say this is still an ongoing and active investigation. We are also asking for more information about that suspect. Michelle?
All right, Monica Casey live in Durham for us. Thank you, Monica.
Take a live look right now at our Durham camera this noon. The clouds are rolling in. The rain will follow. Meteorologist Kat Campbell is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center, pinpointing who could see this rain during the evening commute.
We expect it to move in from south to north during the evening commute, Jeff. So I think our southern counties are most likely to see the rain by the time we get to 5, 6 o'clock. Over the next few hours, we still have dry weather, 66, but an overcast right now. Rain chances begin to climb around 4 or 5 o'clock, so right in time for the evening commute. And it's all this rain moving in from the west. The heavier rain should remain well to our south in Georgia. This is going to be a light, patchy rain for us this evening. Let's take a look at the arrival timeline for the rain on Futurecast. This is a brand new run of Futurecast. We get an update once per hour. Through 3 o'clock, no rain likely in the area, just a lot of clouds. Once we get to 5 o'clock, though, for the evening commute, it would mainly be toward the Sandhills in Fayetteville, where we have the best chance for rain. And by 7 o'clock, rain chances up to about 40%, with some of those showers moving into the Triangle. This will be patchy. This will be light, so it's not going to be pouring rain anywhere this evening and tonight. But if you do have plans, you may want to grab the umbrella or at least a raincoat with you this evening. We keep in the chance for rain through the late night hours tonight. The clouds linger a bit longer tomorrow. I'll show you how much rain this could amount to coming up.
All right, thank you, Kat. At any moment, we expect to receive the 5-day report from the Raleigh Police Department on a deadly shooting near a Wake County middle school. 1 week ago today, a teacher called 911 to alert police of a man with a gun near Ligon Middle School. At the same time, parents and school bus drivers were dropping off students at school. Officers located the suspect on Cumberland Street. The man shot at police and officers returned fire. The shooter died and 2 officers were placed on administrative leave. As soon as it's released, we'll bring you that live report.
And new at noon here in the WRAL Live Center. Within the last half hour or so, Fayetteville police identifying the victim shot at the Velux Hookah Lounge on Yadkin Road last night. Take a look at video from the WRAL Breaking News Tracker. Police say 30-year-old Anthony Bradshaw died at the scene. Investigators say shots were fired inside that lounge during that altercation. That's when Bradshaw was shot. The argument spilled out onto the parking lot where more shots were fired. 4 others were injured, including one man who remains in critical condition at a Fayetteville Hospital. No word yet on his ID. We'll keep you updated with any new information about this story.
Former President Trump is getting ready to face a judge and enter a plea to criminal charges. Mr. Trump posting on social media that he will travel from Florida to New York this afternoon before his arraignment in court on today. NBC's Bree Jackson has reaction from Trump's lawyer and lawmakers.
How do you feel, Mr. Trump? Former President Trump preparing to voluntarily surrender to New York authorities.
He's gearing up for a battle. This is something that obviously we believe is a political persecution.
Trump is the first former president to face criminal charges. Sources tell NBC News there are about 30 of them related to alleged document fraud. Their exact nature will be unveiled during his arraignment Tuesday.
We will take the indictment. We will dissect it. The team will look at every potential issue that we will be able to challenge, and we will challenge it.
The indictment is connected to alleged hush money payments made to adult film star Stormy Daniels.
This is less about the crime and more about the target. So it has to play out.
Very sad for our country to have to go through this. I would hope and pray that whatever comes forth, that they've done due diligence.
The legal fight comes as Mr. Trump makes his third run for the White House. His campaign says they've already raised more than $5 million since he was indicted last Thursday.
What they think that they're going to do to President Trump, it's going to boomerang back on them.
This whole process of them indicting Trump is a sham.
The former president will fly from Florida to New York this afternoon and stand before a judge Tuesday. And after his arraignment in New York, former President Donald Trump plans to travel back to Florida and deliver remarks from his Mar-a-Lago estate on Tuesday night. In Washington, Bree Jackson, NBC News.
And we have a live look now at Trump's aircraft that's in West Palm Beach, Florida. Leading potential challengers to Trump, like Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, are joining the ex-president's allies in Congress to blast the Bragg investigation. Meantime, another Republican, former Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, called on Trump to step aside because of the indictment. Hutchinson announced his own run for president yesterday.
The price of oil surged this morning after OPEC Plus producers announced surprise cuts to output that could result in higher prices at the pump as the summer approaches. The U.S. benchmark rose nearly 5.5% to $80 a barrel. This development could mean inflation remains higher for longer. The reduction will start in May and last through the end of the year.
Votes could begin this week on a $30 billion plan to spend your tax dollars. The North Carolina House is working on passing its budget plan. A lot of the money will go toward raises for teachers and state employees, particularly in hard-to-fill jobs where lower salaries are causing vacancy rates upwards of 20%. There's also a lot of new rules in the budget House Republicans proposed, and some of which are controversial. You can find a full breakdown of the budget plan and what's inside on nccapital.com.
This evening, Durham City Council will meet for the first time since one of its members was accused of corruption. Members could vote to take action against Monique Halsey-Hyman. WRAL's Laura Levine has been keeping up with this developing story.
Many people will be watching to see what will come from today's meeting here inside City Hall. According to a resolution, some Durham City Council members are calling for a censure for Monique Halsey-Hyman, saying that her actions do not meet the standards expected of council members. It was just 2 weeks ago when we witnessed that very tense meeting. The city attorney revealing an investigation is already underway into Halsey-Hyman. She's accused of offering a developer support for a project in exchange for a campaign donation. And also separately, she's accused of also using a city staffer for campaign work. Those accusations led to an outburst between members of City Council. Councilman Leonardo Williams shared this statement last night on the matter. He says, given all the recent events surrounding City Council, I'm sure a lot of you may find it hard to have faith in the council. I'm frustrated, saddened, and disappointed too. He goes on to say, in all of the darkness, I see hope for better times ahead, calling on council members to heal and rekindle their passions to serve the community and also to move forward. That meeting tonight will take place at 7 p.m. Laura Levine, WRAL News in downtown Durham.
And breaking here in the WRAL Live Center, just before we came on the air, NASA releasing the names of the 4 astronauts who will fly around the moon next year. Take a look. Among them, North Carolina's own and NC State alum Christina Cook. Cook is no stranger to space travel. She recently set a record for the longest single spaceflight by a woman with a total of 328 days aboard the International Space Station. While there, she conducted 6 spacewalks, including being part of the first 3 all-women spacewalks. Cook joins astronauts Victor Glover, Reed Weissman, and Jeremy Hansen on the mission to fly around the moon next year. This will be the first time since the 1972 Apollo mission that NASA will be doing anything connected to the lunar surface. And of course, this prepares NASA for landing astronauts on the moon in 2025 or 2026.
More places across the Triangle are rolling back COVID mask restrictions today. Durham County Health and Human Services says masks will be optional in its common areas. This includes hallways, elevators, and restrooms. However, you will still be required to wear a mask within the county's Department of Public Health clinics and registration. ECU Health is also relaxing some restrictions today. Masks will now be optional for healthy patients, visitors, and employees. If patients are uncomfortable, they can request their individual doctor or nurse wear a mask. ECU Health says the updated policy is due to the steady decline of COVID-19 infections across the state.
An enormous success. That's how Raleigh police are describing this weekend's Dreamville Festival at Dix Park. Fayetteville rapper J. Cole and popular rapper Drake closed out the two-day music festival. Drake brought out some iconic artists during his set, including 21 Savage, Lil Wayne, and rappers Lil Uzi Vert and Glorilla. Drake and 21 Savage recently released a joint album. Tens of thousands came out to hear from other big-name acts, including singers Usher, Ari Lennox, and Summer Walker. We spoke with the festival's design director about the art at the event.
Also created several different environmental bars, right? Pieces that are both functional and photo ops, aesthetic pieces that merge and sort of form to create the vibe.
Raleigh police say there were no arrests on the second day, but they did respond to various medical calls.
Next at noon, the Chinese spy balloon the U.S. shot down in early February had the ability to send information directly to Beijing. What info the U.S. intelligence community believes it collected.
Also, devastating tornadoes left dozens dead across the country. We take you to Arkansas for a look at the damage left behind.
Plus, a Virginia teacher who was shot in the classroom has filed a new lawsuit. Who she's targeting and why she says the whole incident could have been avoided.
Download the new WRAL streaming apps on Roku, Fire TV, Apple TV, and Android TV.
Well, new at noon here in the WRAL Live Center, family members identifying a missing teen as 15-year-old David Miranda Hernandez. The family shared this picture of him with us. We've been following this story since over the weekend when Hernandez was reported missing off Curie Beach near the rocks at Fort Fisher Recreation Area Park. Now, search teams, including the U.S. Coast Guard and Curie Beach Police, are back at the scene at this hour searching for Hernandez. We'll bring you any new information as it becomes available during this newscast and, of course, online at WRAL.com.
Thanks, Ken. Today, we expect to get our hands on the 5-day report on the deadly shooting near Ligon Middle School a week ago today. WRAL's Chelsea Donovan is at police headquarters in downtown Raleigh. And Chelsea, any indication when that report will be released today?
We haven't gotten that information yet. We're hoping that it will be soon, but we should mention it was exactly 1 week ago that Raleigh police officers shot and killed a man they say was pointing a gun and firing at occupied cars. That was near Ligon Middle School. In fact, many of the 911 calls were actually made from teachers inside of that middle school who described this man as actually pointing a gun at teachers' vehicles. Now, we expect a timeline to be out today on this incident, perhaps even body camera footage. Dispatchers received a dozen 911 calls. The police chief called the incident quickly evolving in a huge threat, endangering many lives in that area. That suspect then made his way down Cumberland Street in southeast Raleigh. When officers finally located him, that man actually shot at officers five times, according to Raleigh police. 2 officers returned fire and that suspect died. We could learn his name possibly in this 5-day report. The incident did prompt Ligon Middle School to go into a code yellow lockdown. This requires all doors to be locked due to an active threat. Now, we should mention those 2 Raleigh police officers that fired those shots, they are on administrative leave. That is standard protocol. Raleigh police are conducting their own internal investigation. The SBI is also conducting a parallel investigation. We'll let you know when we get our hands on that 5-day report. and bring you those details on WRAL.com and in our later newscasts. Jeff.
For some of the key information that report will provide, Chelsea Donovan in Raleigh for us this noon. Chelsea, thank you.
The Chinese spy balloon that flew across the U.S. was able to gather intelligence from several sensitive American military sites, despite efforts to block it from doing so. 2 current senior U.S. officials and 1 former senior official say the intelligence was mostly from electronic signals, which can be picked up from weapon systems or include communications from base personnel. China has said repeatedly that the balloon was an unmanned civilian airship that accidentally strayed off course and that the U.S. overreacted by shooting it down.
Communities across the country are recovering in the aftermath of devastating storms and tornadoes over the weekend that left at least 30 people dead. NBC's Emily Ikeda shows us the damages in Wynne, Arkansas.
Well, ahead of this weekend's storms, forecasters have warned that the severe weather could be town-altering, and this is what they were talking about. You can see evidence of the sheer force of the tornado that came through here in the size of the toppled tree. Also, I'm going to walk over here, walk up these steps, this entryway to a home that has, you can see, been completely reduced to rubble. I spoke with residents in this neighborhood of Wynne, Arkansas, who say when they emerged from their homes after the storm, or what was left of their homes, they had trouble actually navigating their way around town because they didn't recognize it. The storm so severe, it left Wynne, Arkansas unrecognizable. This week, schools in Wynne, Arkansas will be closed at least through this week because of just the degree of devastation here. I also want to walk over here because we are hearing stories of determination and remarkable survival across the street. I spoke with a woman named Karen. She was in that home when the tornado powered over here. She was hunkering down with her partner at the time. When the tornado passed, she came out, the walls of her home completely blown out. There were dozens of tornadoes recorded in much of the country, from here in Arkansas to Iowa, all the way over to New Jersey and Delaware. Unfortunately, we continue to see the death toll continue to tick up. More than 30 people killed from this weekend's storms, 15 of those in Tennessee. This morning, a colossal cleanup getting underway in many parts of the country. I'm Emily Ikeda in Wynne, Arkansas for NBC News.
And a volunteer firefighter in Kentucky is recovering after a tree fell onto his fire truck during strong winds. The captain was responding to a report of a car crash when it happened. Officials in Letcher County said the tree fell off the side of a hill and hit the truck. His head was cut and he does have a concussion, but he is back home. Several schools are closed today because of power outages.
Worst part about all this is what we're seeing right there on that map. Kat Campbell is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. Another round here.
It's just so heartbreaking when you think of the images you just saw out of Arkansas, and then to know that they're under a level 3 threat for severe weather again tomorrow. There's still so much cleanup left to do, and this is just going to complicate efforts. Not only there, but also up to the north. Illinois got hit hard last weekend, and they're under a level 4 out of 5 threat for severe weather. Another significant severe weather event likely tomorrow. Unfortunately, bullseye in those same areas that just got hit so hard. And that same system continues to push to the east. By Wednesday, to level 2 threat for severe weather here in yellow, and that level 1 threat in green here extends all the way into western North Carolina. We're not under any severe weather threat yet in our viewing area. As of right now, it looks like that system weakens once it crosses over the North Carolina mountains. We will certainly let you know if our thinking changes, but we do expect to see some rain out of this system. This front would arrive Thursday into Thursday night and bring the chance for rain with it, and this same front is going to be key to your Easter weekend forecast. Where this front settles, how far south it makes it in the state, is going to have a big impact, not only for rain chances Easter weekend, but also temperatures. Right now, it is a low confidence forecast. We want to be honest with you, and this is why. We've got to figure out where this front's going to stall. Stay tuned for updates as we get closer to the weekend. Before we get to that system, we've got to get through this round of rain that moves in this evening and tonight. It's patchy, it's light, it's not going to be a high impact event. In Pinehurst, still dry. Some folks out golfing at Pinehurst Resort and Country Club, but the overcast is built in this evening. Temperature 66 right now in Raleigh, 67 in Rocky Mount, 59, a little chilly in Roanoke Rapids, but near 70 in Fayetteville, 71 Clinton. Not bad for golfing. Southern Pines, 67 degrees. If you do want to get out for a stroll this afternoon, do so early. By the time we get to 5 o'clock, we could begin to see some of those showers moving into our southern counties. They continue to lift to the north as as we get closer to 7 o'clock, I think that's when we could see some of the rain around the triangle. It's just not going to add up to much, though. Futurecast rainfall showing less than 1/10 of an inch of rain out of this system. So if you were hoping that this rain would help with some of the pollen, I don't expect it to do so. Oak, maple, and pine pollen all in the high category. I am sensitive to oak pollen, and I have to say this past weekend was some of the worst allergy symptoms I've had this season. And we're just not done with the pollen yet. Once we get to Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, hopefully we'll get some good rain to help wash away the pollen. The next big story, though, after the rain is going to be the warm-up. 3 days in a row in the 80s. I'll have more on that coming up in the next half hour. Michelle and Jeff.
All right, thank you so much, Kat. Another Dreamville Festival has come and gone. Today at 4, we're looking at what made the event such a success, plus the economic impact it had on local businesses. And then at 5.
If you're planning on a vacation, don't wait. Coming up, 5 on your side will share the best times to book and how to save the most money.
Well, still ahead this noon, Google is leaving its employees searching for perks after making some money-saving changes. We have details on the luxury benefits the company will no longer provide.
Plus, Meta takes steps to develop advanced AI robots, the human-like tasks they'll be able to perform just by watching a video.
Gray skies over Raleigh right there. This is a live look from our WRAL Live Cam network outside the Museum of Natural Sciences there as you watch WRAL News, available on Spectrum and the WRAL app on your TV or streaming device. With the right software and tools, a hacker could target your vehicle, but there are ways to protect yourself. If your vehicle has a remote start app, it can be compromised. A tech expert advises changing your password and making sure it's not the same password you use for other accounts. You should also contact a car dealer about cybersecurity being put in place and always keeping your system updated.
Southwest Airlines says it has a new plan to prevent widespread flight cancellations because of severe weather. Last December, the airline canceled almost 17,000 flights, stranding about 2 million flyers over the busy holiday season. Southwest says it will now add more winter equipment and staffing at airports. It'll also invest more than $1 billion in technology upgrades. The airline says that will help it restart quicker when things go down because of extreme weather by improving communications and decision-making processes. Americans are getting more angry about poor customer service, and they're finding ways to vent on businesses. 74% of Americans reported troubles with products and services. That's up from 66% in 2020 and 56% in 2017. Customer service experts say pandemic-caused labor shortages and business cost-cutting measures are factors. A customer service consultant recommends customers try smaller, more client-focused businesses. If you have an issue, go to top management rather than frontline workers.
Still ahead this noon, we are keeping a close eye on this. This is Donald Trump's plane in West Palm Beach, Florida. He is expected at any minute to be on that and headed towards New York, where he will stay in Trump Tower in New York tonight and then tomorrow become the first former president to be arraigned on criminal charges.
Plus, it's never too late to make your dreams come true. Find out how long it took for one man to become a doctor. And as we head to break, here's a look at your winning lottery numbers. Good luck.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
Security is tight across New York City as former President Donald Trump prepares for his historic arraignment. Madeline Rivera is in Manhattan, where Trump will face a judge tomorrow morning.
Attorneys for Donald Trump are gearing up for a legal battle as the former president prepares to face a New York City judge. Former President Donald Trump is traveling to New York today ahead of his arraignment on charges related to hush money payments made ahead of the 2016 election. NYPD officers are putting up metal barricades and closing streets as the city braces for possible protests.
You're going to see the U.S. Secret Service, the FBI, You're going to see a whole host of federal agencies down here.
The former president will spend the night at Trump Tower before arriving at the Manhattan Criminal Courthouse Tuesday morning. His legal team is reportedly considering asking the judge to move the case from Manhattan to the more conservative-leaning Staten Island due to concerns Trump won't get a fair trial. Trump's attorneys also say they expect to make a motion to dismiss the charges.
We will take the indictment. We will dissect it. The team will look at every potential issue that we will be able to challenge, and we will challenge it.
After Tuesday's arraignment, Mr. Trump plans to deliver remarks in Florida, though the judge could impose a gag order on the 2024 GOP frontrunner to prevent him from discussing the case.
If you were to gag him from being able to talk about this, guess what? You're actually implicating political speech, which is the core right protected by the First Amendment.
That was Madeline Rivera reporting, and tomorrow the entire courthouse will be cleared for a sweep and no other business will be done until Trump's arraignment is over. Secret Service will make sure he is brought in safely.
We want to get back to that breaking news that we first reported at the top of our newscast. WRAL has just learned that the person who was shot inside the Dollar Tree on Glen School Road in Durham has died. WRAL's Monica Casey is on the scene. And Monica, have police shared a motive in all of this?
Well, Michelle, we do have some new details. We now know the person who was shot and killed was an employee of this Dollar Tree, and the suspect who allegedly shot him was another employee. If you take a look behind me, you can see it's still a pretty active scene here. Police were called just after 9 this morning, but we still have crime scene investigators on scene, as well as multiple police here on scene. The Dollar Tree is closed right now. You can see some employees outside talking about this. When the news broke that this person had passed away, there was a lot of emotion over here. I just spoke with a man who comes to this Dollar Tree every day. He arrived here to get his lunch and found this crime scene here. He tells me he is not only shocked this happened in this area, but also this store. He says he has never seen any confrontation or tension in this Dollar Tree. Now, we are still working to learn more details about the suspect. Police say this is still an open and active investigation, but right now we do know they do have a suspect in custody for this fatal shooting here at the Dollar Tree in Durham. Michelle?
Such a scary situation, something we know you'll stay on top of. Monica Casey, live in Durham. Thanks, Monica. And police are investigating an early morning fire at the Oak Park West townhomes. Officers say flames broke out around 1 o'clock this morning at the complex on Sharp Drive. They say the flames caused heavy damage to several units. We are working to learn how many people were forced out. Luckily, no one was hurt. Investigators say they're looking into the cause of the fire. They tell us they don't think this is arson, but they are looking at every factor. And police say a driver who fell asleep at the wheel caused a 2-car crash in Johnston County. Authorities say the driver of a Dodge Charger fell asleep and slammed into a guardrail on I-40. Moments later, another car swerved to avoid that crash and ended up in the median. The driver of the Dodge is charged with failure to maintain lane control.
Attorneys filed suit this morning against the Virginia School Board and 3 former administrators on behalf of a teacher who was shot by a student. Abby Zwerner and her attorneys say the incident was a personal attack on Zwerner that could have been prevented. Savannah Guthrie has the story.
We have a report of a teacher shot.
It's been nearly 3 months since first grade teacher Abby Zwerner was shot by her 6-year-old student at Rich Neck Elementary School.
In that moment, what's going through your mind?
I was terrified. In that moment, my initial reaction was, your kids need to get out of here.
Now, the 25-year-old teacher is demanding the school be held responsible for the near-fatal incident. A new lawsuit filed just this morning alleges gross negligence and reckless breach of duty against the Newport News School Board and 3 former administrators at the school for failing to protect Zwerner from the student's, quote, known history of random violence. Despite multiple warnings, including 3 other staffers telling the then assistant principal that the boy was carrying a gun, the administration refused to take appropriate action, according to the new complaint.
Do you feel like you could have been better protected by the school?
Yes.
You feel like they should have done more?
Yes.
The local prosecutor decided not to charge the 6-year-old boy, but said he is investigating whether others could face criminal charges.
Everything about this is so unthinkable. I wonder what you think or how you feel about this student.
You know, there's some things that I'll never forget, and I just will never forget the look on his face that he gave me while he pointed the gun directly at me. That's something that I will never forget. It's changed me. It's changed my life.
Savannah Guthrie reporting. The boy used his mother's gun, which police said was purchased legally. An attorney for the boy's family said the firearm was secured on a closet shelf and had a lock on it. Lawyers for Zwerner say she has permanent bodily injuries, physical pain, mental anguish, lost earnings, and other damages. The lawsuit seeks $40 million in compensatory damages. Just ahead, Meta is stepping into the robot business. The latest creation the company has developed and what it can do.
And saying goodbye to free snacks in the office, the cuts Google is making to save money. Meta powers up a new level of artificial intelligence. Facebook's parent company says it's one step closer to developing advanced robots. Meta says it's created a way for them to learn from humans and perform daily tasks. They include cooking, cleaning, even playing sports. According to Meta, the robots will learn different functions by watching videos. And Google is scaling back some of its lavish employee benefits as a way to cut costs. The changes impact free snacks, cafeterias, and personal computers. Google recently slashed 12,000 jobs around the world. The company says the cost-saving moves are necessary in order to create room for new development in other areas such as AI.
Our county-by-county coverage this noon hour takes us to Granville, Sampson, and Wayne counties. The Granville County Senior Services Creative Lifelong Learning Program is offering a diverse array of courses this spring. The classes help enrich seniors with programs for all interests, including literature, etiquette, emotional health, even end-of-life planning. The program is modeled after the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at Duke and NC State universities. For more information, please contact the Granville County Senior Center.
And now to Sampson County, where the Sampson County Board of Commissioners will hear renaming recommendations for hundreds of addresses impacted by construction. The DOT extended NC 24 from Cumberland County to Clinton, bypassing Autryville and Roseboro in the process. But that progress comes at a price. Addresses that need to change include those on Roseboro Highway, Autry Highway, Dunn Road, and Stagecoach Lane. Tonight's public hearing is at 6 o'clock at the County Auditorium on Rowan Road in Clinton.
Wayne County Sheriff's Office now has its own mobile command center vehicle to serve residents during large-scale incidents. Until now, the county borrowed a vehicle from Johnston County when it needed one. This project was made possible through American Rescue Plan funding from the Wayne County Board of Commissioners and $500,000 in state funding from our state legislators. The 45-foot state-of-the-art command vehicle features scene surveillance, mobile dispatch positions, space for command staff, and much more.
Happening now in the WRAL Live Center, we want to take you to these live pictures right now out of West Palm Beach, Florida. That's Trump's aircraft. That's the motorcade you see right there that just pulled up. And the idea was that Trump was in that motorcade, and right now he is on that aircraft getting ready to take off from West Palm Beach. Of course, he's headed to New York to face criminal charges tomorrow in a New York Manhattan courtroom. But again, you're looking at live pictures of the Trump aircraft. Reportedly, the former president and his entourage are on this aircraft, and they'll be taking off shortly, bound for New York City. We'll keep monitoring it here and bring you any new developments during this newscast.
Being able to make this transition later in life and live out my dream that I had as a child, it was just a very incredible, phenomenal day.
Absolutely incredible. From auto mechanic to emergency room doctor, one man proves it's never too late for dreams to come true.
Plus, for many children with autism, sleep can be a challenge. After the break, we'll share one suggestion that could help parents and children catch more Z's. April is National Autism Acceptance Month. Many children with autism tend to have sleep issues, which can impact their health as well as their families. New research has found a set of interventions that could prove helpful, even virtually. A recent trial showed that using a behavioral approach, which included preventive and environmental modification, was beneficial. Doctors say it's not always as simple as just telling a child to go to sleep, but what they can do is introduce changes to help promote sleep.
For a night wakening, for example, if a child wakes up at night, we can't say don't wake up at night, but what we can teach a child to do is instead of, if they wake up at night, don't get out of your bed, maybe call out to a parent or ring a bell to signal that they need help falling back to sleep.
Doctors say there is no one main cause for why children with autism tend to have sleep issues. That continues to be researched.
It is never too late to achieve your dreams. Brittany Harris introduces us to a man who gave up his career as a mechanic to become an emergency room doctor at the age of 51.
Dr. Carl Allenby, who is an emergency medicine physician for Cleveland Clinic, is proof it's never too late to pursue your dreams.
Before I became a physician, I was actually an auto mechanic and also a business owner.
But at 38 years old, after going back to college to earn his business degree, he decided it was time to switch gears.
And it was during the course of that educational endeavor that I was forced to take a biology course that reminded me of a lot of the childhood ambitions that I had to become a doctor.
From there, his dream was reignited, and he began studying pre-med.
Usually it takes about 4 years to finish pre-med courses. It took me 5, just because I had to, work and provide for a family and be almost a full-time student.
And while it was hard work, his dedication never wavered. Neither did the support of his family.
My wife has been a really great supporter of mine.
Then in 2019, Carl Allenby officially became a doctor. He was the oldest person in his graduating class.
Being able to make this transition later in life and live out my dream that I had as a child, it was just a very incredible, phenomenal day.
The now 51-year-old spends his days treating patients in the emergency department and believes his background in the auto industry has really helped.
A lot of what I do in the emergency department is customer relations.
As for advice to others, he says anything is possible if you just believe.
I would say believe in yourself, and you'll be surprised of what you can accomplish.
Some wise words there. That was Brittany Harris reporting. Now that he has achieved his dream of becoming a physician, he's found another passion to pursue in his off time, mastering the piano. This guy is unstoppable.
He just won't stop. That's a career change right there.
Amazing.
As well. I love it. We're about to go through some changes as well. Weather-wise, Kat Campbell in the WRAL Severe Weather Center. After this little bump of rain here today, we're going to have some heat back on.
We're warming up. I was in a sweatshirt this morning out on a dog walk. Tomorrow, we're talking t-shirt weather. I will say I'm a little worried about the 81 for the high tomorrow because of cloud cover. Regardless, though, temperatures are going to be significantly warmer than they were today. By Wednesday, look at this. We're up to 86 degrees, mid-80s again on Thursday. It's really going to be warming up this week. We have a brief warm up, though. Let's take a look at our temperature anomalies. This shows the departure from normal. We've got a big ridge of high pressure at jet stream level building in across the East Coast by the middle of the week, and that's why temperatures are warming up into the mid-80s. But look at this sharp line, a pretty potent system approaching from the west. And this system, unfortunately, could produce some additional severe weather in some of the areas that have been hit so hard. But as we get into Friday, that's when we could begin to see some changes here. Not so warm on Friday, gradually cooling off, and then heading into Easter weekend, below normal temperatures are likely. Right now, it looks like highs would be in the 60s on Easter Sunday. Keep checking back in for updates as we get closer. Outside today, North Hills, you can see the clouds continue to thicken. We started out as just a thin, wispy upper level cloud deck moving in, but those clouds really thickening up. Where you see the white, that's where we have the thicker clouds. Where there's still some gray in the northeastern part of our viewing area, that's where the clouds remain pretty thin, at least at this time. But all this activity is moving in from the southwest. The clouds continue to thicken, and then we've got some spotty light rain that moves in this evening. So we do have rain in the forecast today. It just gets here later on this evening into tonight. 72 72 in Lewisburg, 71 in Roanoke Rapids, 72 in Durham, the high today, 73 in Wilson, 73 in Smithfield, and 74 degrees in Fayetteville. If you do need to get a dog walk in, do it over the next few hours. By 5, 6, 7 o'clock, we expect the rain to be moving in from the south. It's patchy, it's light. It's not going to be a big deal type of rain, but it is going to make for just a dreary evening out there. So just try to get anything you need to do outside done in the next couple of hours. After that, we are warming up. It's going to be feeling more like spring out there for spring break week for many kids in the Triangle. If you're doing a staycation for spring break, maybe opt for some ice cream for the kids. It's going to be warm enough to do so as we get into the middle of the week. Temperatures cooling off as we get into Easter weekend. Low temperatures fall back in the 40s, 56 the high on Saturday, back up in the 60s by Easter Sunday, but a lot of question marks right now in terms of rain and exactly where a front stalls out. So stay tuned for updates as we get closer.
We will do that, Kat. Thank you. Having pets in the house may help your child's health. Coming up, we explain what a recent study revealed about animals and certain allergies.
As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today.
And we are expected to receive the 5-day report from the Raleigh Police Department on a deadly shooting near Wake County Middle School. 1 week ago today, police were alerted about a man with a gun near Ligon Middle School. Officers say the man shot at police when they approached him, and police returned fire. The suspect died. 2 officers were put on administrative leave.
Fayetteville police identified the man shot and killed at the Velux Hookah Lounge last night on Yadkin Road in Fayetteville. Police say 30-year-old Anthony Bradshaw died at the scene. 4 others were hurt, including one man who remains in critical condition at a Fayetteville hospital. No word yet on his ID.
NC State graduate Christina Cook will head around the moon next year. Today, NASA announced 4 people who will fly around the moon for the first time since the 1972 Apollo mission. Cook will join Americans Victor Glover and Reed Wiseman and Canadian Jeremy Hansen. This is part of the Artemis mission in preparation to land people on the moon in 2025 or 26.
And the NCAA men's basketball national champions will be crowned tonight. San Diego State will be looking for its first championship as they play UConn. The Aztecs advance to the final with a buzzer-beating win over Florida Atlantic on Saturday night. UConn will be trying to win its 5th national championship and first since 2014. The Huskies got a convincing win over Miami on Saturday night to get to the title game. Tip-off is set for 9:20 tonight.
A new study finds having pets in the house might decrease the chance of children developing certain allergies. Researchers in Japan found infants living with pet dogs had fewer allergic reactions to egg, milk, and nuts compared to those who weren't exposed to dogs at home. Similar results were found for infants living with pet cats. They were less likely to develop allergic reactions to egg, wheat, and soybean. The effect was seen in very young children up until the age of 3.
And speaking of pets, our pet of the day comes to us from Per Partners. Nimbus is a handsome silver tabby who's playful, curious, and has a lot of personality. This sweet, affectionate boy loves to be held and cuddled. Lying on a window perch or a cat tree are some of his favorite activities when out chasing that laser dot. Nimbus gets along well with kitties of all ages and will make a great addition to any loving family that has a kitty looking for a friend. You can read more about Nimbus and other kitties available for adoption at perpartners.org.
Nimbus the cat.
Nimbus.
They can add inches to your height, but they can also do damage to your body. Today on our news at 4, how high heels can affect your health and also what you can do to try to fix the problems. Pay attention to that.
I'm paying attention. I have a lot of high heels. All right, NBC News Daily is next on WRAL. Your next local news update is in 30 minutes.
You can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Grab that umbrella for a little bit later. Those raindrops are coming. Have a great day.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.